Out of nowhere, LEGO comes up with this arcade pinball machine, a set that seems tailor-made to a few specific fandoms and niche groups of people, myself included, delivers incredible functionality from a technical standpoint, and while seeming like an incredible proposition overall, falls a bit short on most accounts, at least to me. So let's talk about it, and thank you LEGO for sending it for review. If you're a millennial like me, chances are you've played 3D Pinball Space Cadet, right? As a kid, I would also build custom LEGO pinball machines using all my tiles for a flat surface and try and play them with marbles, so seeing a pinball machine finally made out of LEGO hits close to home. And seeing as the theme of the machine is space, including a classic space minifigure and a matching baby for the classic space fans out there, is a sneaky but smart move. Most of the pieces of the minifigure could be sourced already from a few different sets, except for the helmet, making the whole thing exclusive here. The baby has been featured in basic colors before, so this new light blue variant will also be in high demand. Onto the main build itself, the figures are once again a crucial part of the mission at hand, the so-called space mission, as we can see it in the back box, where the goal will be for the grown-up to reach the baby in a way I'll explain in a bit. The brick-built lettering is nice, and so is the mountains in the distance effect, with a few different shades of orange going on. The mission and star tiles are printed, but the score underneath, a nice hint to the set's product number by the way, is a sticker. The whole thing is outlined by these new blue-violet shade of colors introduced earlier in the year in a bunch of different LEGO Friends sets for the most part. So seeing more pieces done in this color to add to the collection is always nice, as this one that has a progress bar of sorts and is also printed. The same cannot be said about the decorative side panels of the machine, which are stickered that once again feature the characters and a space scene that matches the color scheme seen throughout the build. The opposite side also features a similar set of stickers for decorations, only mirrored this time around. As you can see, the machine is tilted to allow for the play features to work as intended, with the feet having rubber pieces underneath to avoid slippage. There's a bit more color on the sides, but not a whole lot if I'm being honest, and the flipper triggers can be seen. As expected, when you slam them, the flippers on the playfield will do their thing. The mechanism that makes this work is somewhat straightforward, with a few gears and Technic shock absorber elements, but always the kind of things I appreciate building and seeing taking shape. On the front of the machine, a few stickers decorate a compartment where one of the two included balls can be found, the same kind that I only remember seeing on the LEGO football table from LEGO Ideas a few years back. On the other side, there's a ball launch mechanism that works, once again using a shock absorber element to do its thing. The playing field is rather simple in my eyes, with not a whole lot of elements, but considering the relatively small size of it, this is to be expected. The sideways build that makes the surface flat for play allows for some interesting details, like the colored arrows, a rocket of sorts, and connection points for some of these spinning bumpers, a ring planet, and the ramp. This here was incredible to see being put in place, with the smart triangles and the seamless integration of the ramp against the playfield. The ramp also features a new type of panel element I don't think I've seen before, which looks incredibly useful for custom builds, and the launching ramp does feature a bunch of them too. I've shown the flippers previously, though the left one is connected to the top left one to avoid the ball falling down here, and in the middle there's an asteroid, I wanna say, that you need to bump into to play the mission. Now to do that you need to start your game, and just like any other pinball machine you launch the ball, and then try your best to keep it in play without it falling into this left spot or in the middle of the flippers. As mentioned, the mission at hand, leading the minifigure into the baby, is cleverly done by bumping the ball into the asteroid. When you do it and the asteroid falls back in place, the minifigure will advance a little bit thanks to the simple yet clever mechanism set in place, with the help of this new one-way gear piece that, like the name mentions, can only be turned one way, so that the astronaut goes in one direction only, towards the space baby. Once you do that, the mechanism can be reset from the back by just pushing the base where the astronaut is connected to. Now, I'm pretty sure I gave the mechanism space and the connections aren't strained with lots of friction. Yet sometimes when hit, the asteroid doesn't fall back where it should, meaning the astronaut does not advance. With all the hits you do with the flippers or sometimes with the ball hitting the asteroid from behind, the thing will eventually reset and the astronaut advances, which is okay I guess, but seems to me to be a bit of a technical miss on an otherwise spotless set of play functions. This sits really well next to the Pac-Man arcade, which falls under the same theme, right? But contrary to that one, this can actually be played with in a true sense of the word, whereas with Pac-Man you just turn a crank to see the characters run in a fixed course you can't change. Now, despite the ability to play with it, the play is very short-lived, and this is where some of my issues with this set lie. There's no scorekeeping, no extra bonuses or secret passageways and connections you'd find on a real pinball machine. And the only true special thing to do with this, outside of trying to get the astronaut to get to the space baby, is managing to send the ball through the ramp. That gets old really fast. As a display piece, I don't find it particularly eye-catching, as its design is mostly black with a few tiles slapped in there for color. You could justify that by saying this is supposed to be a space game, but so was 3D Pinball Space Cadet, and that thing was booming with details. Maybe this could have been a nice opportunity to integrate the new smart brick somehow for light, sound effects and extra interactions, all of the things that make real pinball machines stand out against other arcade games. Trying to get classic space fans on board with the minifigures was smart, but when you consider what you'll be paying for these just to get an astronaut and space baby out of it feels lackluster, when for comparison's sake, the LEGO Ideas minifigure vending machine gave you 2 copies of new exclusive colored astronauts for less money. Had there been a few more astronauts sprinkled in there, it would have been fine, I think. With almost 2,300 pieces, Americans seem to be getting the short end of the stick for a retail price of $230, whereas Europeans have slightly better price per piece ratios. But whichever way you look at it in the world, this price structure aligns with the latest trends within LEGO. Not a great one, mind you, but not as bad as it can be seen with some IP licensed products. I was really excited about this one, but left somewhat disappointed in the end. I truly acknowledge the craftsmanship that went into designing a fully playable pinball machine out of LEGO bricks. The design team did absolutely amazing here, and my 10-year-old self would be really impressed at the sight of this, but it falls short for me on every other aspect: looks, play longevity, and the appeal to classic space fans. Am I being too harsh? Do you agree? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you all on the next one.